Hey guys, so as of majority's request, I am going to be posting about my life story before I post more in depth about like my horses. But since it's kind of like a long story of why I moved to Jorvik and who I was before Jorvik, I'm going to be breaking it up into at least two parts. Um in this part, I'm going to be talking about who I was before Jorvik, and in the next, I'll talk about what kind of led me to move to Jorvik. So yeah, I was born and raised in an Arab country, which I won't be naming just like for personal and safety reasons. To an American mother and an Arab father. Here you can actually see two little pictures of them. That's my mama and baba when they were younger. I wish I got my mom's eyes. They're really pretty, but those turned out to be my sisters. I speak fluent English and Arabic, but my English is a bit stronger, and I'm currently studying two more languages. Back home, we lived in the city but had a kind of mini ranch or stables in the outskirts. My mom was a horse trainer and a riding instructor, and she was also a retired dressage champion, but like Arab style dressage, not really the dressage that you guys are used to. If you guys are interested, I could maybe share a video of her in action in the future. We'll see. My dad was a professor of equine science at the local university and and a retired show jumping champion. And you guys can just like guess how strong the horse living genes were in our family. And that right there is me and my horse Irfi, which means cinnamon in Arabic. um, I spent most of my time at the stables. Whenever I wasn't studying, I'd be there like either riding, doing chores, or like reading or writing, or even maybe just like hanging out with the horses and other animals there. I began officially learning to ride at the age of 7, and to be honest, it just came naturally to me. When I was on a horse, I felt free, I felt serene, and just like this sense of belonging would just overtake me. My sister, though, who was 10 years younger than me, didn't really have much of an interest in horses until like a bit later in her lifetime, which I will be coming back to in my next posts. I had my first ever horse when I was 11. His name was Sakar. In English, I named him Eagle, but he died shortly after he came into my possession. Uh, I mean, everyone mourns like the death of their first horse, but I did, like, even before him, there were a lot of other horses around the stables, obviously, that I interacted with, whether they were owned by my parents or just being boarded there. Um, I did ride and interact with a lot of other horses too. Growing up, I always dreamt of becoming a vet, but as I grew up, or like grew older, I started to develop a deep interest in psychology. And at the time where I lived, vet school wasn't really the best option for me career wise because the only job opportunities I would get would be as a professor. And, if I'm going to vet school, then I'd much rather like be an actual vet like than just be a veterinary professor. um and although I did go into psychology, I still maintained a great interest in veterinary care, and I did actually delve into it quite a bit, even like before I went into university or picked psychology as a career choice. I did, I helped around a lot in the stables with injured or sick horses, and I fostered a lot of neonatal kittens. And for those who have like experience with that, you would know that it does take a lot of like guts because it can be quite disgusting, especially like um if you're kind of like being like doing the big stuff, like getting your hands in there. At the age of 19, I became a qualified riding instructor and gave lessons to beginners while also studying psychology at university. I absolutely loved university, like I loved learning about how the mind works. I'd come home from university like so eager just to tell everyone about what I learned and to review my lessons. I would just bore my family with what I learned that day, and if they wouldn't listen, I'd just tell the cat. um I was even lucky enough to take a course in animal behavior, and I was trained to become an equine therapy instructor, and life was pretty damn great. And that's me with Belle, one of the gentlest mares that I have ever dealt with. This was actually one of my first ever training sessions for me to train to get my license in equine therapy. And yeah, life was going pretty good. Up until the second half of my third year, um, things kind of came to a crashing halt and my life changed drastically. But I will be talking more about that in the next post, and that's kind of what led me to move to Jorvik. For now, I'll just end it here. Thanks for being interested in my life, and I hope to see you guys soon. Take care, everyone. See ya.